For today's recipe, we're making Chinese Steamed Barbecue Pork Bun. But before we do that, let's check out a famous Chinese restaurant and see how they make theirs. This is the award-winning Cha Siu Bao restaurant, famous in Vancouver. There's two restaurants, one in Vancouver and one in Richmond. We're at the famous Cha Siu Bao restaurant in Vancouver, Canada. This restaurant is famous for seafood and also for dim sum. Tell me what you think. Our version will cost us about 20 cents to make versus the $2 version that this famous restaurant makes. So these are the barbecue pork buns. These are the barbecue pork buns. So these are the Cha Siu Bao, which is a very traditional dim sum item, which we always have. So when you see this, you break it up like that. Wow, look at that, look at that. You break it up, it looks like that. It's a soft bun, steamed bun with a nice pork filling, and when it's nice and light and fluffy, you have a bit of sauce in there. It's really delicious. Now it's time to do our version of Chinese Steamed Barbecue Pork Bun. In the description below, tell me what your favorite topping is. So we're going to make the bao mix here for the steamed buns. So I have the, I'm using instant rice, instant yeast. So you can use the regular yeast, but I'm using the instant yeast, a lot faster. What about a tablespoon of instant rice yeast in, I got about a quarter cup of water here. So this is warm water, so you don't want the water to be too hot. You don't want it to be cold because you need to activate the yeast. Even though it's instant, you still need to activate it. So you can see it's getting activated now. For this recipe for barbecue pork bao or steamed buns, we have 4 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We call it magic baking powder. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.25 cups of water. You can use milk as well. So I'm going to add the instant yeast with the water, so it's activated. So I'll put part of it in and just mix it up a bit. So just make sure everything's all pressed together. So I'll mix it by hand for about 10 minutes. Let it sit covered with cellophane for an hour. So this will start to break down. So the first time when you knead it is a little bit hard. The second time the dough will be more relaxed, so it'll be a lot easier to do. So any loose flour, it'll pick it up. It'll pick it up when you do the kneading the second time. So okay, now if you're confined to home, what kind of things do you do all day? Do you do hobbies, or do you do exercise? If you like, please comment in the comment section. Tell me what you like to do while you stay at home. So the dough, just give it a good press. It's been about an hour. So just knead it for about 5 or 10 minutes if you like. And then I've been kneading this for a while, so just form a ball here and cover it for another hour, and we're ready to make some more bao. I'm going to have a lot of recipes using onions over the next little while because I have 50 pounds of onions here. So today we're making the bao, the Chinese steamed bun, using pork, and we're going to add onions. You can add other ingredients like green onions if you like, or chives, but we happen to have a lot of onions, so that's going to be a key component for recipes over the next little while. And I got to get through 50 pounds of onions. So then we're just going to grill the onions and then add the pork and put a few sauces in there. We'll have the filling for the bao. Preheat a pan at medium heat. We're going to put about 3 tablespoons of cooking oil in there. So I'm going to slide the onions in. Happen to have a lot of onions here, but you can use chives, green onions, cabbage. So here I have the ground pork. So here I have some chopped up pork. So it has some Chinese sausages in there. It's got some chives. If you have any sesame oil, just put about a teaspoon in there. Put some regular soy sauce. It's also known as light soy sauce. So put about 2 tablespoons in there. So this ground pork, there's about a pound of it. A pound of ground pork. I like to use hoisin sauce. I like to use, for example, there's another sauce I like here. It's the barbecue Chinese sauce. So for this particular batch, I have the barbecue sauce. So just put a tablespoon or 2 in there. And then you want to put some of this sweet bean sauce, so you can put this kind in there if you like. Put a tablespoon. So I'm just going to add a little bit of green onions in there too, so you have some green onions for color. I've got some chives in there already, so add, say for this pound of pork, you put maybe half a cup of green onions. Let it cool off for a little bit. You know, even like say an hour or so would be ideal, sometimes overnight. So just make a hole in the middle here so the filling will cool a little faster. So don't worry if the filling is a little bit saltier than usual, because when you have the steamed bun, it will absorb all the saltiness and the flavor. Usually, for me, I like to cook it within 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So pretty nice. So it's nice and fluffy now. So this dough, I'm just going to give it one last knead. So you have this ball here. So I'm going to punch a hole in the middle here. Just going to stretch it out. So then I'm just going to tear it off and keep rolling it. And I like to work in quarters, so I'm going to cut it again in quarters. So each of these quarters will give you 3 bao for the larger ones, or 4 bao if you want to make it smaller ones. So that's 4 pieces right there. So it makes it easier to work with right now because you have 4 pieces. So the other pieces you can put it right on the plate here, and then just cover it with the paper towel so that way it doesn't dry out. So I find that really useful. So you have 3 pieces. That's 1, and that's 2 and 3. So what I do is just make it into a ball here, and then press it down. So just press the dough from the middle to the outside. So it should be thinner on the outside. The middle should be a little thicker because you're putting ingredients in there. So if it's too thin in the middle, the ingredients will leak through. So like that. So you can hand form the baos as well. Okay, so now just put some topping in there. So this big bun, big bao, you take about 3 tablespoons of topping. So this style, you just make a fold And then you squeeze it. 你真快呀！我这是真的呢，我真的真的。Oh, so you do the different method here. Just kind of do the 4 corners and then 3 corners. So this is a different method. You just bring in the sides and just twist it to hold it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So just put a little wax paper on there. And so there you go. Nice looking bao. I got the pan going at medium high to high heat. So I'm going to put the bao in. Make sure there's lots of water in there. That's the important thing. Make sure there's water in there. And then put the pan in, and we're going to steam this for anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. So it's been about 15 minutes. We'll see how the bao turn out. There you have it. Homemade barbecue pork bun with onions. Enjoy. That's good flavor. Now you can order the products and ingredients that I use in my cooking videos. Just click the link below in the description for the Chinese cooking accessory guide. The recipes you get now is what I call stay-at-home recipes. This is what I have in my fridge. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. Put it in the comments in the section below. And be sure to give me a like, and be sure to subscribe, and make sure you click the bell so I can keep giving you more videos.